It is Tuesday the 23rd of December. We are in the pub and it's time for the Cat's Whiskers podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the last Cat's Whiskers podcast of 2025. I mean, I'm calling it as official, but I don't know.
What happens if something amazing happens in the pair of Sheffield games?
Then I will be forced.
Yeah.
Then I will be forced. I will be forced to eat my words, and I'll be quite happy about it. I mean, this is kind of a different feel for us guys, because last time we left it a month. Anyway. Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope you're all ready for Mr. Claus coming down the chimney, and hope you've all been good enough to be on the good list and what have you. So, around the table tonight, we have Adam.
Hello.
We have Ant.
Evening.
And we have, just because he lives up the road, really, Mr. Jono Bullard.
And God chimney.
Well, look, Santa works in mysterious ways. I'm sure your daughter has received presents from Santa in your house.
Not anymore. She knows now.
She
knows what?
I'll tell you later.
Don't spoil Ant's Christmas.
I can see him starting to get a bit upset. We better move on quickly.
Yeah.
We better move on. Right then, gentlemen. As I previously mentioned, we don't have as many games to try and remember all the things that happened. Thankfully, we haven't left it as long this time. So I'll just
concentrate on the road.
Yeah. Ant's not driving. I promise you, we are in the pub. We've had a lot of you get in touch with discussion topics and questions and such. So thank you very much. We will start to plough through those shortly. I'll start with the first game since we last podcasted, and then we'll see how we go. So it was a 3-0 win up at the Storm Shelter. So unfortunately it saw Harrison Hembrandt go off injured, and we managed to spoil the Storm's night because it was their teddy toss night and we shut them out. So I think many of us have been there, quite frankly. That's kind of added to the injury woes, because thanks to the incident in the Fife game while we were up in Scotland, we'd already lost Mitch Fossier for the foreseeable. So now we've got a couple of other big hitters that are added to the injured list. Did anybody watch that Storm game?
I did.
Oh, hello, Jono. Well done. This is why we invited you, mate. So 3-0 win. We're good for it.
Yeah, very good. Really good. Wasn't a classic, as you could probably expect. It was the usual sort of game in the Storm Shelter. Very little time on the puck, not a lot of passing. But Panthers were superb. They were gritty. They were dogged. Every single player put in a shift. Jason Grande absolutely phenomenal in goal as well, getting the shut out. Another really good performance in Altrincham, and a very, very good win.
Marvellous. Okay, so we'll move on to the next game, which I believe we all saw. I was really looking forward to seeing the aforementioned Mr. Jono Bullard trying to throw a teddy from the commentary position, but he wussed out on that. So teddy toss night for us, and thank God we scored. And
what a goal as well, by the way. I might have actually put something along those lines off on social media as well. What a tossing goal that was.
It was quite because Chase put on Instagram about how he scored the teddy toss goal, and then put a little PS, Jono Bullard doesn't miss. So I'm like,
fanboying again. He's fanboying.
I mean, you think, your position within the club, you get bored of these interactions, but apparently you're still like a kid on Christmas Day.
Well, ask me in a couple of days.
Indeed. The game did not pass without incident. Simon Dupre was chucked out for a game misconduct. We've actually had a question related to that. We'll come. Let's do that now. Let me try and find it. Steve Wright on Facebook. So checking from behind penalties not being called by referees. There have been a number of heavy hits into players' numbers which have caused injuries. Yet these are being called as boarding. I believe checking from behind penalties lead to automatic Department of Player Safety reviews, whilst boarding calls do not. Would more reviews for injuries in play and therefore suspensions help prevent injuries to players? Now, the one thing I will say, I have known a game misconduct call for boarding. I will just put that out there. I believe that is a legitimate penalty, and I believe it sits on my spreadsheet, so I'm pretty damn sure that it's been called recently. So,
I mean, if we're talking about the hits that have injured our players, the only one for me that was a legit penalty that needed a 5+ whatever was the Desprez one, again, because he elbowed him and then a forearm smashed Limos in the face. Whereas the injuries to Harris and Fossier are of the result that you can't call the result. You can't call the aftermath as a penalty.
Hewlett did get a 5 for boarding as well for that on Harris.
But we go back to, and I mentioned this last night on 3-on-3, but certainly the Fossier one just reminded me bang on of the Henbrand against Belfast, when all our fans are up in the air, and I was rightly saying that's never a 5+ game. It was a 2-minute at most, and then those same fans are going, oh, but what about the hit on Fossier, which just anyway, no, I'm not going to rant. It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
No, you're allowed to rant. That's where we're going.
Tell us some of the actual rules of the game, because you're the hockey geek here.
Yeah, so just looking at that, so any major penalty, any 5-minute penalty, any 10-minute misconduct is automatically reviewed by DOPS. So it doesn't matter what it's for, it will be automatically reviewed. It just seems to be that there's not that many reviews these days. But then again, I don't think there's that as many major penalties. I mean, there was one this past weekend, Cardiff against Sheffield, a Helgeson hit on Ivan Bjorkley-Nordstrom of the Steelers. Cracking hit. I saw a cracking hit. Hit his shot, but I think it dislocated his shoulder. But Tremblay came in and had a fight with him. Fair enough, no problem with that whatsoever. But it was a fair hit for me.
They've given the penalty based on the resulting injury as opposed to the actual hockey play.
I don't think he got a penalty. There was no penalty called. They just called penalties for fighting.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, it is Sheffield against Cardiff. If there was a game that I didn't want to watch because I'd be screaming blue murder at the telly, wanting both teams to lose very heavily, it's that one.
Yeah. That's the one of those can they both lose kind of games for us, really, isn't it? I'll be honest. I mean, just to sort of touch on DOPS, I haven't seen a lot of anything. When there has been reviews and there's been 5-minute penalties, there's been like a little short statement of So there's no fuss or fanfare about DOPS anymore, and it just seems a bit. It seems like it's a bit anonymous again, all over again. And I feel like that's a shame because if you decrease the visibility on the Department of Player Safety, then people kind of forget that it exists.
But it's, I mean, obviously the videos will take time and effort to do. But I saw a question on one of the Panthers groups today about somebody who were relatively new to the game, but they want to know more about like the technical side of the game and what have you. So asking for if there are any videos or anything out there, and somebody quite helpfully posted a link to some NHL ones. Those DOPS ones were perfect for this sort of thing, like educating people as to like the intricacies behind what the decision that they've made. But yeah, like you say, it takes time, money and effort to put those together, and perhaps they haven't got the resource at the moment to do them. But it is a shame because they were a decent little addition. It's sad that they've stopped.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, I mean, I want to just for as an example for how easily you can make the videos. And I mean, obviously you've got to have somebody who's willing to do the voiceover for the DOPS ones and what have you. I completely recognise that.
What with AI nowadays? So you just bung in some text and away you go, innit?
Well, no, but the thing is, just as and this might not be a comparative example, you know, at the end of every Panthers game, you'll see Sophie, she's on the bench and she's recording the lap of honour, and that video will be on social media before I've even got to bunkers. So, you know, it's not something that is. I mean, I'll be honest. I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue how to or what to do, but I know it can be done. So, you know, it's just a case of putting the right people in the right places. But anyway, that's, you know, I just wanted to, you know, just highlight the fact that there's the lack of visibility on Dobbs.
Sat around the table with a commentator. I'm sure if the league went to him and goes, "Excuse me, Mr. Bullard, would you mind narrating the Dobbs videos?" I'm sure he would say no. Plus, you know what? That'd wind up some of the other fan bases as well. So it was like even better.
You'd have to speak to his agent. He's a very busy man. He's in demand.
I'm not cheap.
Unfortunately, Paul couldn't make it tonight, so that's why Jono's here.
Yeah, I'm going to say we can't negotiate with Mr. Bond because he's not here.
My take on this, for what it's worth, is this might sound like a bit of a snobby purist comment, but I don't think players can check anymore. I think the quality of checking, legitimate checking, has really gone off a cliff over the last 10 years. I won't go as far as saying the game's gone, because that phrase is very, very overused these days. But I've noticed as a fan of quite some time that the ability to check and check cleanly just seems to have really, really dropped. And you know, I've noticed it more and more this season where guys have been hit against the boards when they're not able to defend themselves. You know, they've either sort of had a hit already from another player that's left them prone, but it just seems like, you know, a bit Wild West in some ways, that players are quite happy to just, you know, completely go through a player that can't fully, you know, sort of control their actions near the boards. Couple of instances with Panthers players as well, you know, over the last few weeks. But yeah, it's just a general, I don't know whether it's a grumble or just an observation, but yeah, I think the art of checking seems to be a little bit in decline.
Yeah, do you know something? Actually, I'd be inclined to agree with you, because I mean, you know, we can all sit around the table and talk about these examples. You know, we've already mentioned Cam Jansen. I mean, you know, I recall him breaking.
High there.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I remember him dislocating somebody's shoulder in the shopping centre.
Yes.
I forget who it was. Was it Kristanovic or somebody like that?
Imagine Cam Jansen playing in that rink nowadays. There'd be no plexi left.
Yeah, most definitely. But I mean, you know, if you think, you know, close to home as well, other Panthers examples, you've got Jeff Waugh. He was brilliant at checking. Jane and Rislin could throw a check or two. You know, and you've got all these, you've got all these guys. Well, you've got all these players of old, you know, past Panthers players that you know.
Going further back, Steve Carpenter, because he was the master of the mid-ice check. Absolutely.
Hip checks as well. Hip checks.
Weavers was a decent one for hip checks as well. That was like his speciality, wasn't it?
Hip checks really have died a death. In fact, I can't remember. A couple of they're painful, and you sort of do expose yourself potentially to a nasty injury. But there was one a couple of weeks ago. Somebody sort of like dropped down to execute a hip check and completely missed, and it was like, yeah, that's a lot that's wrong with a modern game.
Is part of it down to because the game is so much quicker now?
Yeah, it's a
so there is that, and people, you know, the players, they do skate better. So the sudden changes of direction and what have you, that's gonna come into it, innit? But it also goes arm in arm. I realise I've got Tina basically leaning across the table because I'm sat lounging.
It's not the most attractive pose I've ever had in my life in a bar.
Part of the actual physical side of the game has lessened anyway. So they've gone away from the physical side of things, and that's why you've got teams that can get the sticks out and start whacking away and get away with what they get away with.
Yeah, sort of genuine bona fide enforcers have pretty much vanished from the game. You know, even in the minor leagues in America, you just don't get them anymore. You might hear about the odd guy in sort of junior hockey that's, you know, racked up 150 minutes a season. It's like, wow. You know, we remember guys that amassed 350, 400 penalty minutes a season. You know, back in the I was going to say the good old days. Makes it sound like I'm just being very nostalgic tonight. Maybe it's Christmas.
Well, I mean, you and Jono have, particularly around this table, got a lot of history to draw on, haven't you? So, going to jump about again, because we have had a question related to this in a sort of roundabout way from Chris P. On the old artist formerly known as Twitter. Other teams assign players that have an edge, and we are being bullied in games with physical play that we sometimes struggle against. Should we have a gritty player to do the same, not dirty or underhand like some, but a physical presence? I mean, we've kind of talked about this on previous podcasts, that we've got a couple of players who, will stand up for each. They'll be the ones you'd expect to kind of go in at the scrums if there was any kind of untowardness, for want of a better way of putting it. But we haven't got somebody. I think the thing is, people yearn for like the days of the power forward, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Well, you beat me to it, because I was going to say I think we all yearn for a really good power forward. But I noticed in particular on the game on Sunday against Guildford how many scrums there were around Kevin Carr after he'd replaced Grande. There was 4 or 5 scrums that ended up with like players squaring off and handbags. And I'm thinking, I would just love one of our players to take matters into their own hands here and just drop the gloves and no choice one of the Guildford players. I mean, this was after the game had pretty much gone anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered too much if we'd taken some penalties. But you've got to look after your netminder, and you've also got to send a message that if anyone's going to take liberties, they'll have to pay the price for it. And I think it goes back to what Ant was saying a few minutes ago. The game has changed. It's got faster. There's more finesse now. There's less aggression and physicality, and old-fashioned sort of goonery and thuggery, for want of a better phrase. So, even though a lot of us are still saying, yeah, we need more physicality, we need power forwards, do they really exist anymore? Do those sorts of players exist? Are they out there? I mean, you remember someone like
one of them left Glasgow to sign for Sheffield. So yes, those players are still out there.
But they're nowhere near as plentiful as they used to be. You could go out at one point, shake a tree, and about 10 power forwards would fall out. Now, they're much scarcer. So and every team is probably looking for one of those sorts of players. So when they become available, you've got to move really quickly to try and get them on the roster. We don't know who Danny Stewart's looking at, if he's even looking at anybody to try and make sort of changes to the roster. But I reckon that most fans of elite league teams would probably say the same thing. We'd love more physicality. We'd love guys that could take matters into their own hands and look after their teammates. If there's any bother out there on the ice, but I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, just related to that, we've had another question. Richard Davis on Facebook. Just that lasting ever question. Can we get over that final hurdle without any toughness? So, I think that there's maybe sort of shades of 2013, 2012-13, where we signed Kelsey Wilson, which was kind of it was a bit of a turning point.
The lumberjack.
Yeah. And go on, sorry.
And Lepine.
Lepine came first. But Kelsey Wilson was a bit more sort of, I don't care, I'm going to punch you kind of guy. He was a bit. I think it was like Lepine a couple of years previous perhaps. But it was definitely a turning point, I think. For that particular season, I kind of see where I kind of see what Richard's getting at.
But he's 12 years.
I know, I know.
It's 12 years ago, and the thing is, I sort of take your point, and you hear it a lot. But where's Sheffield's toughness?
They just signed one from Glasgow. They just signed one from Glasgow.
No, I'm sorry, but no.
And Robert Dowd.
Come on.
Seriously, mate. Dowd can.
He can, but you don't think Robert Dowd enforcer, do you? No. Sheffield is second. Where's their toughness? Cardiff, yes, they've got a bit of toughness, but no one really has toughness anymore. It's the way the game has gone. And look, I yearn for the olden days. I really do. I used to love a bit of pagger in a game, but it doesn't happen anymore. And and unfortunately we've got to get over it and move on from it, because it just does not happen now. And teams are getting by without toughness. It's all the game now is built on skill and speed, and that is not going to change.
No, I think that, yeah. Breathe, Jono. Breathe. Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with you. Right, just after all of that.
I'm absolutely raging. Don't come to me. I'm raging.
Yeah, we're just going to pause.
Because that'll just leave me and Tina.
I'm going to say, yeah, we're just going to pause for a second while we set up a cage fight in the car park. So just returning to the Flyers game, we went a very roundabout way to get here. So just need to benchmark and make a note of the fact it was Finley Ulrich's first goal as a Panther that night. So happy days. Yeah, really enjoyed the celebrations for that. You could tell that the team was absolutely made up for him. It was all smiles on that one. Okay, so then we will move on to the Challenge Cup playing game, where we were so short benched that Cooper Zek was playing on a forward line. I mean,
and played bloody well as well.
I mean, come at us, Glasgow. I mean, and they did, and they tried, and we still came home the 4-1 winners. And once again, because it's sort of shades of last year, isn't it, where we faced Clan in the playing game and moved on. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't watch that game. I did. Well, I tell you what, you've already taken one, so let's go to Adam. Go on, give us some commentary.
No, it's good. I mean, you only had to look at the shortness and the bench to realise that it was going to be a really tough assignment, but I thought we coped really, really well. I mean, Glasgow chucked things at us, but, by hook or by crook, we sort of repelled them and we made the most of our clear-cut chances, scored a couple of nice goals. But I just thought there was a clear sort of determination from everybody on the roster. It was almost like, we will get through this game. We have to get through this game, And, as you said there, Cooper Zek playing as a forward, doing a really good job as well. And it's nice to be able to know that you've got players that can be versatile like that, and we know that probably the king of versatility, Jordan Kelsall.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say,
not there.
No, it makes a bit of a change from us going, right, has anybody ever played D ever in their life, to us going, you're a frustrated forward, get on a forward line.
Yeah. So, but I was never nervous during the game.
No.
I mean, I was nervous ahead of the game because obviously you look at the length of our bench and you look at the length of Glasgow's bench and you think, we're going to be up against it here. Some guys will be logging some big minutes tonight. But once the puck dropped, I thought we settled into the game really, really well. And even though there were changes to the lines and some of the D pairings, you couldn't really tell in the game. It was all very, very fluid, all very sort of smooth.
Gritty. Really gritty, wasn't it? They just battled and battled and battled.
They fought for every puck, and what was really pleasing was they weren't sort of afraid of going into the corners as well, putting their bodies on the line, especially when they're short benched as it is. But they just did everything they could to get that win, and it felt like there was so much determination and will to win there, and that's brilliant, because to see that sort of attitude from the rest of the guys that are still there, like, okay, we know we're short, we know we're missing some really, really skillful players that are game changers, but the guys that were there got the job done, and that's all you can ask for. And Jono's right, it was such a gritty performance, and I know we'll probably come to it in due course, but you do wonder whether the effort that we put into that game actually caught up with us last weekend.
Yeah, well, go on, Ant, before I was going to have a smooth segue then, but you go.
Well, I just want to touch. Glasgow is a strange beast, aren't they? They were a bit. I mean, they were on 6-7 game losing streak.
Yeah.
Up until this weekend when they happened to play Fife. Now are they playing Fife at the right time for them, and then it gets a bit of confidence in. I don't know. I worry for Corey, if I'm honest. If they have another season where they're struggling for 8th again, I can't see him being in the job for next year.
I absolutely agree with what Ant said. It's such a strange thing because everything seems set for Glasgow to do well. Yeah. They've had sort of new owners. They've had a bit of an injection of investment. I know they've got sort of changed circumstances with the rent in the arena, and like the them being there.
But then
so
they do things like the £2.50 tickets.
yeah.
They're talking about fleecing your fans and that stupid fist bump zone.
Oh yeah.
Meh.
I mean, they're gimmicks to me. They're just gimmicks, but they're sort of like, I don't know, taking advantage of a very loyal fan base. I don't know, but anyway.
Well, look, right, people are paying it.
Yeah.
And if people didn't pay it, they would wrap it up.
Supply and demand, basic economics. You're right, but I agree with that. It doesn't feel right. But anyway, I suppose what I was going to say is, every year something sort of changes in Glasgow, but then nothing changes. So, it is a weird one because it just seems like they're underachieving year in, year out. And I thought Corey would sort of work his magic.
Here's the thing, though. How often have people said that about Panthers?
Yeah.
Underachieving year on year on year. Look who they've got as the coach, Corey Nielsen.
Well,
and they've got the facilities. They've got a coach who's got a proven track record.
Yeah.
They've got it's all there. And we've how many times have we said that about us? Aside from the year that we won the league, it's all like we've got all the ingredients for success, and it's just not coming.
Well, the thing is, yes, we were effectively a whole line down on Wednesday, but Glasgow only had one more player than us in the lineup. But that's surely enough, and playing at home, to be able to perform better than they did. And yes, it was a ballsy performance from us. But like Adam said, I at no point was I worried watching that game, going, yeah, I don't think we're going to. I can see us conceding here. I wasn't worried at all.
There were never waves of pressure. Glasgow never sort of subjected us to an absolute barrage of pressure, like being in our own defensive zone.
They scored, didn't they? And then I think Cade Nielsen had a chance straight after at the back post, and I can't remember who it was. Someone took a penalty because they did sort of he would have had a tap in at the back door, and I think.
That was the turning point.
That was
Yeah, absolutely. And if that doesn't happen, then we might be having a very different conversation now. But yeah, it was a really sort of business-like performance, wasn't it? They went up there, they thought, right, we can get this win.
I was proud. I was proud actually after that performance, because I think a lot of people had said, you know what, we're short on bodies. I don't think that I think there was a sort of nice zen feeling. We're like, you know what, if we don't win this, I'm all right with that. We went and absolutely played our arses off and got the result. We were absolutely fantastic, and I put a couple of things on Twitter which a couple of people jumped on, where I said this team is very special, and I do believe this team is very, very special.
Yes. And that sets us up for a meeting in the semi-final with our nearest and dearest.
Going to win.
Up the road. Well, assuming we have some bodies back by then, maybe I'll have a little bit more confidence. We will see. Go on.
Again, not something that we do on a regular basis on a Panthers podcast, but commend Sheffield for the ticket pricing as well. £10 plus your fees for £13 for a semi-final ticket. That's, to quote, get them in, get them spending. It's a perfect example of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got to be smart about it. I mean, Sheffield do see a significant drop in bums on seats. No, it's fine. They do see a significant drop with bums on seats when it comes to a midweek game. It's something that you notice very much.
One of the things that this is their policy, I think, for midweek games is they charge £13, except for that Panthers one they had earlier in the season in the Challenge Cup. But
that was moved from the Saturday, though, wasn't it?
Was,
so
So the thing is, I think they get they charge £13 for midweek games, and they're generally getting probably 7,500 people on a Wednesday night.
For an arena that's not in the city centre.
Yeah.
It's not like ours, which is right sort of on the edge of our city centre. So, yeah, fair play to them.
Yeah.
But the thing is, to give us a bit of credit, because I can't have Sheffield taking too much of the credit, this is where the all-in season ticket works, because we've now got a second leg where there's a load of season ticket holders who now get into that game.
And we've already talked about the Conti Cup. The all-in ticket for that, £72 for 4 days of hockey, 2 games a day, 3 on the Saturday. I mean, it's an absolute, but it's an absolute bargain.
Not mine. I've got to commentate with some very difficult pronunciations on that one.
So, PSA for anybody that hasn't got their Conti Cup tickets yet, get him. Get him. I mean, this is a rare occurrence, having a tournament of this calibre being hosted in our city. Let's make the most of it. Let's pack that arena out, make some noise, get stuff going on in and around the arena, and let's have a great time and bring our first trophy home of the season.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more with that. And I think it's also a really good platform to try and showcase what's good about us, British ice hockey, and really sort of send a message to everyone out there, that we are a really, really intense ice hockey country. We might not have as many hockey fans as places like Switzerland or Germany or Scandinavia, obviously, but the ones that are here are really passionate, and I think it's a really good platform to show that to the fans of the teams that are coming across to play in the tournament, but also sort of like the IIHF officials as well. Let's try and fill that building. Let's try and, obviously we all, well, around this table at least, we all want Panthers to do really well and win the thing, but it's just going to be a good festival of hockey. I think we'll see different fans, different styles of hockey, different atmospheres from game to game, because the different fans from the different countries are probably going to have their own sort of unique chants and everything like that. So it's going to be really fun. So yeah, I think Ant's spot on. Let's try and fill that building as much as we can. But when Panthers are playing, let's make the home advantage count.
So just to return to what was going to be my smooth segue before Ant interjected and made it a big discussion about something else. I'm going to bring it back in for what Adam said about maybe we sort of paid the price for going
Heavy.
Going heavy in the Challenge Cup playing game. And it sort of came back to bite us against the Flames. We going into the game, we knew we were missing Fossier, Harris, Kelsall, and Hembrandt, and also I don't remember exactly when he went off, but I didn't see David Noel for a large portion of the third period. So that's also a bit of a question mark. But let's just talk about the one big thing, and I made a big deal of shouting this to anybody who would listen around where I was sitting. Jason Grande being pulled after conceding 3 goals was not the fault of Jason Grande. Jason Grande was hung out to dry, quite frankly, by a defence that looked tired, that looked like it was being torn apart by Guildford forwards.
Made mistakes, made unforced errors. I mean, the tone was set after about a minute when Guildford took the lead. Pass up centre ice, just didn't picked off.
It was very noticeable that when Jason went off, Danny Stewart went straight to the end of the bench to talk to him, and I think it was a move. I think it was to try and get a reaction from the team. It certainly was no slight on Jason Grande whatsoever. There is nothing he could have done with any of those goals.
No, and the thing is as well, the Flames seemed to have a game plan. It looked like they'd done their homework.
Well,
they basically knew.
Before, hadn't they? And I think they probably had a rocket from Paul Dixon.
Well, no, like I say, I think they'd done their homework, knowing that Grande was going to be starting, and they knew how to get him going,
but it wasn't
to create the space.
Yeah, I know, but it wasn't necessarily Grande's fault, because I think the problem started further away from the net than that.
Yeah, of course.
I think that the D was sloppy. It was a rare occasion where our D all collectively dropped the ball.
Yeah.
None of them really looked on it.
No.
And whether that was sort of Guildford. And I will give Flames credit for this. Their forecheck was really fierce. Incredibly fierce. They were onto everything. The level of energy they started the game with really sort of took it to us.
Yes,
and, maybe we could say, well, we should have expected that, given that they'd lost to Coventry the night before and that they were going to come out there. And, they've not been on a great run of form lately. So perhaps Paul Dixon gave him a bit of a jobs on the line speech. You never know, but the energy that they had when they came out was way more than us. And we looked absolutely shell-shocked by it. Absolutely shell-shocked. Yeah, we made mistakes, but, the level of intensity that Guildford brought to that game in the first 5-10 minutes pretty much broke us there and then.
Well, I watched the game on Saturday night, and they had 43 shots. Guildford didn't score.
Robson had a blinder, didn't he?
Robson had a blinder, but I think they hit the pipework 3 times as well, Guildford. So they were unlucky. Yeah. But you know, I sort of get annoyed when people say, "Oh, Panthers were terrible, Panthers were bad." You know, take nothing away from Guildford. They were fantastic on Sunday. Yeah. They were brilliant. They came in and they absolutely blew us away in that first period.
It was the best period, that first period of hockey I've seen a team play in that building this season.
Oh, they were super. They were absolutely super.
They just dropped the hammer on us big time.
But it's those sort of games that, like, you go 2-0 down that quick. Yeah. All right, I want somebody to step up and, like you were saying earlier, just grab hold of one of them and just punch it. Yeah. Just try and get something going, kill their momentum, whatever we can do to stop their momentum, get some energy in our lot. And obviously, they'd had sometimes it's not a bad thing playing a team that's only playing its first game of the season. First game of the weekend. Because, you know, you're going to... it's momentum. You're going to come out, and this is what sort of annoyed me a little bit. It's just like, you always expect, in particular Guildford, to come out hard, especially in that first period. You've got to know it was coming. So do something to sort of negate that.
Turn the tide a bit.
And then try, and then you work your way back into the game as the period goes on. And but it is nice. But I think we all said it in bunkers afterwards, didn't we? It's just, hopefully that's our Edinburgh game.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Well, there's a bigger picture here. That was our second regulation loss in the league.
Oh, you beat me to it.
Sorry, out of 21, we're top of the league on Christmas Day. And okay, Sheffield and Cardiff have got the same number of points as us.
Where did Cardiff come from, by the way? Because I've not been paying attention to them because they're not very good. And then now they're here.
So you've got 3 teams on 34 points. It's very close, but we're top. We're top at Christmas. When was the last time that happened?
Yeah, I mean, if
lost that for that team.
I probably have, not embedded in my brain, unfortunately. Just as a something that flashed in my head then when I was talking about was going 2-0 down and wanting to no choice somebody just to get a bit of momentum back into the team. I don't know exactly what happened when we. The last time I recall as being a deficit. Didn't we go 3-0 down to Sheffield in their building?
Twice.
Yeah.
Is it twice? Oh no, 2. Yeah. We've come from 2-0 down in the last 2 games.
I thought it was 3-0 earlier in the season. But anyway, we've been at a deficit before, and we've seen the team come back. But it just seemed like the energy wasn't there for the Guildford game.
We talked about that on the way back from Scotland trip, didn't we? This sort of tendency to go a goal down, and sometimes 2 goals down. Yeah. But early in games to give us enough time to try and fight our way back into it, which generally we have done. But, on Sunday, I think it was a bridge too far for us. But the short bench, there's got to be something sort of like linked with that, because the guys can't just keep going to the well game in, game out when you're that short, because you can't sort of affect games offensively to the same degree as you would if you've got your Mitch Fossiers in the team, if you've got your Harris's in the team, if you've got your Hembrandts in the team, to stretch the ice a bit.
Have you cloned them?
Sorry?
Have you cloned them?
Merry Christmas, everybody. I've cloned Fossier and Harris. We're going to have a top line of 3 Mitch Fossiers. No. I don't think the league would entertain that. I don't think we could register 3 Mitch Fossiers. But yeah, look,
is there a Christmas song about that?
3 Mitch Fossiers.
5 gold rings.
and a grande and a pear tree.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on as you were, Adam.
Yeah, but I think, you said it was our Edinburgh game. It could have been. We don't know. It's the reaction that counts, isn't it? It's how you fight back from that. But the way we fight back from that is a pair of games against Sheffield, which is going to be incredibly tough, especially if we don't get some bodies back in the lineup for those games, because Sheffield are looking ominously good and we've got a short bench.
It's like eating a Vindaloo when you've got a cold. It'll either kill or cure you, mate.
Exactly. The adversity of being so short and having a few days of rest from that Guildford game might actually help us. Might refocus some minds. Danny might want to work through a few sort of things in training in these days. But I don't know. I really can't call these pair of Christmas games against Sheffield. I just hope we get some bodies back in the lineup, because the longer we're short benched, the more ice time is being put into our players' legs and making them more susceptible to breaking down with injury.
Yeah. Well, just on that, let's just address, because we've had quite a few questions relating to new signings, injury cover, bodies, and all the rest of it. Before we started recording, Jono sort of set us right. I don't think it was news to us, but I think it's one of those things it's one of those things that, unless you remember actually reading what the Elite League said at the beginning of the season, and who the hell does, apart from the man to my right, then it can be easily forgotten. So, Jono, please take it away.
Yeah, so each roster can sign 20 non-homegrown import players per season. Panthers are currently at 18. If you have injuries, you can put players on injured reserve, but that's for 42 days. So if you put a player on injured reserve,
you have to be damn sure that they are
not available to you for 6 weeks. So, there's that to consider. Also, and one of the rules that I think gets forgotten is that you can only have 18 registered non-homegrown players on your team at any one time. We currently have 18. So, that once you sort of think about
it's Belfast's fault for signing 48 teams.
So, if Panthers wanted to bring in another player...
we ruined it for everybody.
If they wanted to bring in another player, it would have to be for a player who's either injured on injured reserve for 42 days, or they would have to cut a player from the roster to bring another player in.
Well, that kind of leads on to a question that some geezer called Max Artis has sent in. There's plenty of chopping and changing around the league. If Panthers were to make a change in personnel, would you be excited or not? And I'll be honest, I'm going to answer this straight away. Aside from maybe our newest signing, who I haven't seen an awful lot of yet, I'd be quite concerned if we let any of our team go right now. Anybody else want to disagree with me?
I don't disagree with that at all. I think there's been players that I look at times and you go, I want to see more from them, and then within the next couple of weeks they then deliver more. So yeah, you're right. I mean, everybody will pinpoint Vulcan straight away because maybe the points production isn't there, but he's not been brought in for that. He's been brought in as a utility, sort of a grinder player. He works his backside off.
He certainly does.
So no, there's at the moment you look at our roster and go, I'd struggle who to cut, but this is where Danny and Omar will come into their zone, because the only way to, obviously, if you can bring in a player or two players, and then that'll be at our limit, that improve on what we've got, I'm all for it. It'll be a hard decision to make, and it'll be pretty crap to do that. But you've always got to look at where you can improve at any time. Any serious sports organisation should always be looking to improve, regardless. If the right player comes along, and you sign him, you've got to make those tough decisions. And this is where you go to Omar and Danny, and this is where they're going to earn the money. But as fans, I mean, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree with a lot of what Ant's just said there about that. You've got to always be looking at the market for better, and I think we were talking before we started the podcast about the situation in the East Coast Hockey League at the minute, with looking like they're going for a lockout, with a strike from the players. a load of good quality hockey players is going to flood onto the market potentially in the next few weeks. And
yes, well, I was going to say you've kind of preempted the next question I was going to look at from Anthony Russell on Banners on the Wall.
Well, I'll hold my powder on that one.
No. We'll go with it. I mean, I've name checked him, so hello, Anthony.
But it sort of like links to what Ant was saying there about you've always got to be looking to improve the roster, because you should never stand still. If you stand still, other teams will overtake you, because they're all looking to improve their rosters as well. I'm sure at this minute, we saw this week Sheffield, with Watling coming back out of retirement, and okay, he might be rusty for the next 2 or 3 games, but he's a quality player. Paul Thompson will be looking to improve his roster at Cardiff. I dare say Belfast will do their usual trick of signing another 10 imports after Christmas. But hello, Noel. Merry Christmas. But yeah, the critical thing for me is, are we where we are in the league because of the chemistry of this roster?
Well, yeah.
Because the dynamics in the locker room have probably got us to being top of the tree.
That is a very rhetorical question, Mr. Reddish. I think you know the answer to that.
I do. And I think, obviously I'm not privy because I'm not part of that sort of environment, but it does look from the outside like it's a very tight-knit group. And the danger is, if you sacrifice one of that group to go for something better, are you going to disrupt the harmony in that team, and are other players' heads going to go down and maybe not give as much as they have been doing to date this season? So that's the big thing.
I'd be massively disappointed in them as professional sports people if that was to be the case. And I know we're nowhere near the top rung of ice hockey here in the UK, but even as hockey players, surely you want to win stuff, and you win stuff by having the best team and the best players. So if there are better players out there, yes, they might get a bit uppity for, it's sad to see your pals go. It's no different to us lot being in jobs, and we've seen colleagues leave for, it's no different at all. Yes, it's sad, but you put your £5 in a collection and you move on. Job done.
Much.
Yeah, it's gone. Nowadays, gone are the days when you used to just put a £1 coin in an envelope, mate, because it's all bank transfer
I've been
now.
working for myself for far too long.
But you are right, Anne. I was asking a rhetorical question. You've got to be ruthless. If you want to win a league, you've got to be ruthless. And do I think Danny Stewart could be ruthless? Yes, I do, actually. I think if he saw a league title there and he saw an important piece of the jigsaw that wasn't with us at the minute, that he thought he could improve this roster with and get us that league title, yeah, I think he would make a trade.
Let's put it this way. I mean, we joked about it before the podcast again. It was just like, what happens if Sam Hare rocks up in Sheffield on the 27th? Wearing Moline's white skates, just for poos and giggles.
I think Sam's feet are bigger than Yolan Moline's.
Yeah, they probably are. But it's that sort of thing. Like, no announcement at all. He just turns up on the ice and starts warming up and what have you. We know it's not going to happen. But
No. Honestly, But I'm just going to plant the seed. Chris Ellis, if you happen to listen to this, just take away the fuss and fanfare of a new signing and just let him appear at warm-up and have everybody just with this massive look of confusion. I'm going, who's that guy?
You wouldn't be able to do it now, though, because the game sheets get published like hours before.
You Grinch.
Yeah, but anyway.
Sorry for speaking with facts.
Well, I know, but anyway, it would be a giggle. I think that would be a giggle, and those of you that remember the Johan Moline days, I think you would find that funny. And Chris is obviously of that era as well.
It still winds Coventry up to this day, and it still winds Tommel up to this day. So yeah, that was ultimate poo-housery, and absolutely blooming brilliant at the time. But yeah, I mean, if you've got the quality, I mean, look who Sheffield have brought in this week. I mean, we know why they've had to make the change. We won't touch on why they've had to make a change. It's already out there. We don't need to comment on it. But then they go in and sign like a blooming good. I know he's not played yet this season, so maybe it might take a few weeks to get back. But you can guarantee he'll get one against us over the next 2 games, because that's how it goes. That's how these things happen, isn't it? So, McCaslin did the same thing to them.
Right, okie dokie, chaps. I think we're just going to, as it's Christmas, we're just going to throw a few light-hearted ones in there. So, some geezer called Paul Radford, our mucker who, never heard of this bloke. Just sort of for context for anybody else listening, Paul is a friend of ours who goes on a lot of walks. He's trying to...
Goes to a lot of spoons.
He does, yeah. And he's collecting trig points like the Pokemon. And so when he goes on his walks, he'll put us on, and we are a no context podcast for him because he doesn't go to the games regularly anymore. So Paul said, a guess on what date I will listen to it, as in this podcast.
Everest, when he does Everest.
Yes, that's possibly a hot cat. I'd like to think he'd listen to us a bit sooner than that, but yes, 2026. Paul Radford is going to be climbing up to base camp on Everest. So if we, I mean, I'm sure we'll get to see him and wish him good luck beforehand. But as we're talking about him and as he's got in touch, good luck with that, Paul, and good luck with all the other walks that you are taking the One Ring to Mordor for before then. And then also TCW alumni, Mr. Aaron Lord, or as is this time of year, the Elf Lord. Just how good is Too Many Broken Hearts by Jason Donovan?
Well, I think he got into the Viz top 10 many years ago.
I'm going to say 6, 7.
Oh, for God's sake.
Stop it right now.
You are fired.
I'll tell you how good it is. So the reason this sort of became a big thing is because I used to joke that Aaron Lord looked a bit like modern day's Jason Donovan.
Not when he was doing Rocky Horror though. No, honestly, if I ever see Aaron Lord like that, that will probably give me heart failure.
Doing some thrusting. But no, I went to a works Christmas do, and the DJ was playing, usual DJ stuff that you do to get people on there. So nobody was really that bothered. So I just went up and asked for, can you play Jason Donovan, Too Many Broken Hearts? And it was like, are you serious? I went, yeah, I mean, let's give it a go. Within 30 seconds of that song being on, the dance floor was packed. So it's a certified dance floor filler.
Certified banger, you heard it here first. So says Mr. Antoine Marijan.
And where does Carly Minogue get her kebabs from? Jason's Donovan.
Jesus Christ, I'm tempted to finish on that, but
that's the Christmas cracker joke done, isn't it?
Please don't finish on that. We're better than that.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's let our friend Gemma try and pick us back up out of the depths of the dad joke. Highlight of the season so far, favourite game of the season so far, and what's your favourite Christmas song?
It's a lot to digest.
It is a lot to digest.
My favourite Christmas song is Greg Lake, I Believe in Father Christmas, and the Robbie Williams cover of it as well, which is also superb.
Oh, bless you. I'm just going to go classic Band-Aid.
I'll go John Lennon, War Is Over.
Oh, hello.
You see, I'm shaky, definitely, for me. It's the original Christmas jumper as well in that video. But you've got Elton, Step Into Christmas is another banger. You can't forget about Feliz Navidad. And
a fair play to Ken as well, playing that. There was a
to be fair, he did steal it from the Boston Bruins, but well played, Ken. Well played.
And Dominic the Donkey.
Tumbleweed. That's a tumbleweed moment for everybody else around the table.
Choice.
It used to get played every time we played Newcastle at this time of year.
Right, anybody wants to go in for highlight or favourite game of the season so far?
Favourite game of the season was the penalty shot win over the Steelers at home.
Of course it was, Jono.
Mine too. I mean, wow, what a roller coaster of emotions that game was.
Yeah, bless you. Go on, Anne.
Highlight's probably the Scottish weekend, if I'm honest. I know we
I can't.
I can remember more about that than I can the last Sunday night, just gone. In fact, the Sunday night before as well. Adam Reddish, bad influence. The Scottish weekend was cracking. I know we only got 4 out of the possible... Sorry, 5 out of the possible 6. And it was disappointing to lose that game in Dundee. But yeah, I think that and being away with all you lot as well is a great time. And what was the other one? Sorry,
favourite game. Yeah, favourite game.
Favourite game.
He's about 6.5 now.
Anytime we win.
Highlight for me, the Challenge Cup group game win in Sheffield in midweek, because there is nothing better than walking out of that arena with 2 points under your belt.
I tell you what, I think there is something better than that, Jono. Walking out of the ensuite, having just thrashed them 8-0.
Wow, yeah.
Happy spontaneous combustion day, Jono, as I remind you every year. Yes, I was going to say the Sheffield away win, because those are always so difficult to come by. You have to cherish those bad boys. Yes, and I would be inclined to agree with the highlight. The Scotland weekend was class.
My highlight of the season has yet to happen. It's Mitch Fossier coming back.
Oh, Mitch,
love.
Valentine's Day is coming up. If you get an anonymous Valentine's Day card in some very concise, neat, town planner-esque handwriting, then you know exactly where that's come from. Gentlemen, I think we're going to leave it there, and it's been a pleasure to sit around the table and shoot the breeze with you all once again. So, from Adam.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
From Ant.
Yeah, take care all, and God blesses everyone.
All right, Tiny Tim. And from Jono.
Like the lamp, not the rat.
Oh, God damn you, that's the second time you've done that to me.
Sorry. Merry Christmas.
I hate you. Thank you very much. We will see you in 2026 for more of this tomfoolery and shenanigans. Please continue to keep getting in touch. Thank you so much for continuing to listen to us and entertain our thoughts and collaborate with us by sending in your thoughts and questions and what have you. Apologies to anybody whose questions we didn't get to. We genuinely could make a 2-hour podcast most of the time out of all the stuff that we talk about in general and all the stuff that you guys.
TCW back.
Well, maybe
Jono's looking for work.
He said he was busy. He did. I mean, what do we believe now? So maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll have to make that our New Year's resolution. Once again, thank you very much. We will see you in 2026. From us and ours to you and yours, have the most wonderful festive period, and we'll see you next time.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!